In Houston, the heat doesn't just make you sweat, it makes you desperate. And in the Fifth Ward, desperation has a specific taste. It tastes like iron, sulfur, and the slow, metallic tang of the Buffalo Bayou. Most people look at the Houston skyline and see the gleaming glass towers of Hale Water Corp, a billionaire's monument to purity. I look at those towers and see the headstones of everyone we lost, including my mother, Olivia. My name is Amelia Mitchell. I'm 18 years old, and I'm what they call a Bayou Bounty Hunter, someone who collects water samples to prove what the city won't admit. Houston's water is killing people. 3 years ago, it killed my mother. 2 weeks ago, it killed Marcus Webb, and right now, it's killing James Oliver Hale. The difference, this time I know who's doing it, and I'm standing in the rain at a funeral, recording every word. Before we continue, drop where you're watching from in the comments. If stories about justice and corporate greed move you, hit subscribe. You'll want to stay for this. The rain came down in sheets that October morning, turning Glenwood Cemetery into a watercolor painting, all bleeding blacks and grays. I stood beneath a weeping willow tree, close enough to hear, far enough to stay invisible. That's the thing about being poor in a city like Houston. You learn early how to be a ghost. From where I stood, I could see them all. Houston's elite gathered around a $40,000 casket like vultures in Armani. Designer umbrellas, Italian leather shoes, sinking into mud they'd never touch again after today. Crocodile tears for a man most of them barely knew. They were burying Marcus Webb. The obituary said heart attack, natural causes, the kind of death that doesn't ask uncomfortable questions or require autopsies when you have the right lawyers. But I knew better. 3 weeks before Marcus died, I'd collected water samples from his office building on Travis Street. The chemical signature was unmistakable, a cocktail of industrial compounds that had no business being in drinking water. The same signature I'd found in 17 other locations across Fifth Ward, the same signature that killed my mother. And every single contaminated site built and maintained by Hale Water Corp. There, standing at the graveside with an expression that almost looked like grief, was James Oliver Hale himself, 52 years old, billionaire, CEO, the man whose face smiled from billboards across Houston promising pure water for pure futures. His half-brother Noah stood beside him, umbrella held just a little too carefully, watching James with the patience of a man who knows exactly how long he has to wait. That's when I saw it. The slight tremor in James's hand, the way he gripped the umbrella handle like it was the only thing keeping him upright, the pallor beneath his expensive tan. I'd seen those symptoms before, on my mother, on Marcus Webb, on every victim of slow poisoning. Noah's phone buzzed. He stepped away from the crowd, and I pressed closer to the willow's trunk, my finger already on the record button of the device hidden in my thrift store coat. 2 weeks max, Noah said quietly into his phone, his back to the funeral. His kidneys are already failing. The will was updated yesterday. Make sure the offshore accounts are ready to receive. My heart slammed against my ribs. Not suspicion anymore. Confirmation. The doctor thinks it's stress, Noah continued, almost laughing. Stress from building $1 billion company. They have no idea we've been dosing his water for 6 months. The same compound as Webb. Untraceable, slow, perfect. Perfect. He called murder perfect. I kept recording as Noah ended his call and rejoined the funeral, slipping his arm around his brother's shoulders in a gesture that would look like support to everyone watching. To me, it looked like a predator steadying his prey. The funeral ended. The crowd dispersed to their Range Rovers and Teslas, but I noticed something. James wasn't leaving. He'd collapsed against a headstone, her driver rushing to help him into the back of a black Mercedes. I heard someone mention St. Bartholomew Medical Center, the VIP wing, private care. I looked down at my recorder, at my water testing kit, at the worn sneakers on my feet. Then I ran.
St. Bartholomew Medical Center rose from the Houston landscape like a glass and steel fortress. This was Texas Medical Center territory, where the right insurance could buy you a cure, and the wrong zip code could buy you a death sentence. I'd never been inside. People like me, we used County General, where you waited 8 hours to be told they couldn't help you, where my mother had died on a hallway gurney because there were no beds, no time, no one who cared about another poor black woman from Fifth Ward with stomach pains. But today, I walked through those sliding doors like I belonged. The lobby smelled like money, leather couches, fresh flowers, a piano playing something classical, security guards in suits instead of uniforms. "Can I help you?" The receptionist's smile was professional, but her eyes had already dismissed me. My jeans, my second-hand coat, my sneakers with the split sole. "I need to see James Hale," I said, "VIP wing." "Mr. Hale isn't accepting visitors." "He will accept me. I have information about his condition." "Are you family?" "I'm the person who knows why he's dying." The smile vanished. "Security." 2 guards approached, but a nurse stepping out of the elevator caught the commotion. She was young, maybe 30, with kind eyes and the exhausted expression of someone who'd seen too much. "What's going on?" Nurse Emma Santos asked. "This young woman is trying to access the VIP wing," the receptionist said, like I was trying to rob a bank. "I'm a water quality specialist," I said, pulling out my testing kit. Official-looking enough to buy me 10 seconds. "I have evidence that Mr. Hale is being poisoned through contaminated water. You can let me up, or you can explain to the Texas Rangers why you refused critical evidence." Nurse Emma's eyes widened. She looked at my kit, at my face, at something in my expression that must have read as truth. "Come with me," she said. The elevator ride felt like falling upward. Nurse Emma didn't speak, but I saw her mind working. "What's your name?" she finally asked. "Amelia Mitchell." "And you really think someone's poisoning James Hale?" "I don't think. I know. The same way I know his brother is planning to inherit everything in 2 weeks." The elevator doors opened, luxury I'd only seen on TV. Thick carpet, art on the walls, rooms that cost more per night than my mother made in a month. "Wait here," Emma said, disappearing into a room at the end of the hall. I could hear voices, urgent, medical. Then a man emerged, tall, black, salt and pepper hair, wearing a white coat with Dr. Theodore Grant embroidered on the pocket. "You're the water specialist?" He looked skeptical. "I'm the person with evidence." I opened my kit, pulling out labeled vials. "This is water from James Hale's office, his car, his home, all contaminated with the same industrial compound, same chemical signature as Marcus Webb, who you just buried, and 17 other deaths in Fifth Ward that nobody investigated because we don't matter enough." Dr. Grant took one of the vials, held it up to the light. His expression shifted. "Come inside." The VIP suite looked like a 5-star hotel room that happened to have medical equipment. James Hale lay in the bed, pale, connected to monitors, breathing with effort. An elegant elderly woman sat beside him, holding his hand, Charlotte Hale, his mother, and standing by the window like he owned the view was Noah Hale. Everyone turned when I entered. "Who is this?" Noah demanded. "Someone with answers," Dr. Grant said, gesturing to the water samples. "She claims James is being poisoned." "That's absurd," Noah said smoothly. "He's been under tremendous stress." Stress doesn't cause acute heavy metal toxicity or the specific neurological damage I'm seeing in his chart, pointing to the monitor. Those kidney markers, classic chelation poisoning, slow, deliberate, calculated. Charlotte stood, her eyes sharp despite her age. "How do you know my son's medical details?" "Because I watched the same symptoms kill my mother 3 years ago, and Marcus Webb 2 weeks ago, and 17 other people in Fifth Ward, all from water contaminated by Hale Water Corp infrastructure." The room went silent. That's a serious accusation, Noah said, but something cold flickered in his eyes. It's a fact. I have samples, I have GPS coordinates, I have dates, times, and chemical analysis, and I have this. I pressed play. Noah's voice filled the room. 2 weeks max. His kidneys are already failing. Charlotte's face went white. Dr. Grant stepped forward, listening intently. James stirred in the bed, his eyes opening slightly. Noah moved towards me, but Emma stepped in between us. That's enough, Noah said. This is clearly a shakedown, some girl from the streets trying to... I'm from Fifth Ward, I cut in, where your company has been dumping industrial waste for a decade, where people have been dying and nobody cared because we're poor and black and disposable. But James Hale, he matters, so maybe now someone will finally listen. Get her out, Noah ordered security, but Charlotte raised her hand. No, play it again. I did, and this time James was fully awake, staring at his brother with horror and recognition dawning. Noah, James whispered, what did you do? If you're shocked by what you're hearing, wait until you see what happens next. This confrontation is about to expose everything. Keep watching. What happened next moved fast. Dr. Grant ordered immediate toxicology screening, independent lab, his choice, no interference. Charlotte made a phone call to someone she called the family attorney in a tone that suggested Noah's world was about to end. And Noah? He tried to leave, told everyone he needed air, needed to make calls, needed anything that would get him out of that room. Sit down, Charlotte said, and something in her voice made a billionaire's son obey his mother. The lab results came back in 4 hours, confirmed deliberate poisoning. The compound was industrial grade, traceable, and exactly what I'd found in my samples. Dr. Grant called the police, but Charlotte made another call first, to Liam Peterson. I didn't know who that was until a man in his 50s arrived, weathered face, notebook in hand, press credentials from the Houston Chronicle around his neck. Charlotte, he said, embracing her, it's been years. Liam, I need you to do what you do best, find the truth. Liam looked at me, at my testing kit, at the samples labeled with dates and locations. Who are you? Amelia Mitchell, Bayou Bounty Hunter. I've been tracking Hale Water Corp contamination for 3 years. His eyes lit up. You're the source that's been sending anonymous tips to environmental lawyers. Not anonymous anymore. Over the next 6 hours, Liam worked like a man possessed. He cross-referenced my samples with corporate records, traced shell companies, followed money trails, and what he found made even Charlotte gasp. Noah hadn't just been poisoning his brother, he'd been running an entire side operation, accepting bribes from chemical companies to accidentally contaminate water systems in poor neighborhoods. Then, Hale Water Corp would get paid to fix the problem, double profit. And when James started asking questions about contamination reports, Noah decided the easiest solution was to eliminate him and blame it on stress. The police arrived, detectives, then Texas Rangers. The hospital room became a crime scene. Noah tried to lawyer up, tried to deny, tried to spin it as a misunderstanding. Then I played the recording again, in front of everyone. 2 weeks max. His kidneys are already failing. The will was updated yesterday. They arrested him right there. Handcuffs, rights read, cameras from local news already gathering outside because somehow word had gotten out that a Hale was being arrested. As they led Noah away, he looked at me, really looked at me for the first time. You have no idea what you've done, he said. I saved your brother's life and got justice for my mother. That's exactly what I meant to do. The treatment started immediately. Chelation therapy, blood transfusions, aggressive detox protocols. Dr. Grant worked around the clock, and slowly, so slowly, James began to improve. It took 3 weeks before he could sit up without help, another 2 before he could speak more than a few sentences without exhausting himself. The first real conversation we had, he asked me one question. Why did you save me? I thought about it, about my mother, about Marcus Webb, about 17 names on my list. Because the system failed all of us, but maybe if you survive, you'll actually fix it. He did, or he's trying. Noah Hale is currently awaiting trial on 14 counts, including attempted murder, environmental crimes, and fraud. The evidence is overwhelming. The recording, the chemical analysis, the paper trail Liam uncovered. His lawyers are good, but they're not miracle workers. James Hale stepped down as CEO, appointing an independent board with community oversight. He authorized a complete audit of every Hale Water Corp project, and when they found contamination, he didn't hide it. He published it, paid for cleanup, paid for medical care for victims. He established the Amelia Mitchell Foundation, named after my mother, to fund independent water testing in underserved communities across Texas, and he hired me to run it. Me, an 18-year-old girl from 5th Ward with a GED and a chip on her shoulder. You know more about Houston's water than anyone else, and you give a damn. That's more qualification than most people have. I accepted, with conditions, full transparency, community control, and a scholarship to study environmental science at Rice University. The water in 5th Ward is being cleaned. It's not perfect yet. These things take time, but it's happening. People are being heard. Names are being remembered, including my mother's. 3 months after the arrest, I stood at Glenwood Cemetery again, not hiding this time. I placed flowers on my mother's grave. I got him, Mama. I got them both, and I'm going to make sure it never happens again. The rain had stopped, the sun broke through Houston's humid haze, and somewhere in the city, clean water was beginning to flow. In the end, this story isn't really about a CEO or a hospital or even a murder. It's about how easily the world ignores suffering when it happens to the wrong people. About how one voice, one witness, one person who refuses to be silent can change everything. James Hale almost died not because of poison alone, but because power had made him blind to the pain his company caused. It took a poor black girl from 5th Ward, someone he'd never have noticed, to save his life and open his eyes. Sometimes justice doesn't come from the top down. Sometimes it comes from the bottom up, carried by people with nothing to lose and everything to prove. If this story moved you, drop a comment below. Where in your life have you seen truth ignored because it came from the wrong person? What would it look like if we actually listened? And if you believe in stories that center justice and the power of ordinary courage, subscribe, because this is just the beginning.